Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Which players will the Lakers sign at the trade deadline? There are many options, but manager Rob Pelinka needs to make a careful analysis to choose the player who best fits the Lakers' current squad. Comments emerge that current interest is in Collin Sexton of the Utah Jazz. Collin Sexton would really bring great benefits to the Lakers as he is a solid player and is in great shape at three-point shooting. Lakers are interested in signing Collin Sexton in business with the Utah Jazz. The Los Angeles Lakers may not be done making moves by the 2025 NBA trade deadline. The Lakers have already made one big trade, sending point guard D'Angelo Russell to the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. While Finney-Smith has 3-and-D capabilities, the trade still leaves the Lakers' depth chart lacking. Russell, for all his flaws, was a reliable offensive weapon off the bench and a capable creator. With the 2025 NBA trade deadline approaching, the Lakers might need to explore options to add a point guard who can bring scoring, creativity, and energy off the bench. Because of this, a trade for Collin Sexton could be a strong option. Could Lakers trade for this guard to replace D'Angelo Russell? Collin Sexton could help the Lakers. Sexton has been a fairly consistent player over the last couple of seasons. After some offensively potent, yet empty-feeling years in Cleveland, he has settled into a solid scoring and playmaking option for the Utah Jazz. Sexton is averaging 18.2 points and 3.9 assists while shooting 47.7% from the field and a career-high 42% from deep. Sexton's stats over the last few weeks are even better than that. In his last 13 outings, he has averaged 21.8 points, 5.5 assists, and 3.5 rebounds, potentially showing off to trade suitors exactly how good he is. Although Sexton's stats are enticing on their own, so is the role he could fill on the Lakers. Lakers need playmaking and scoring. The Lakers have only a mediocre offense this season. Trading Russell for Finney-Smith hurts their ball handling and playmaking. Their defense gets a big upgrade with Finney-Smith, and they get more spacing for LeBron James and Anthony Davis to operate, but Russell was one of their best playmakers. To fill the gap left by Russell, the Lakers need to consider continuing to be active in the trade market. A union between Sexton and the Lakers could help fill that gap. The Lakers are seemingly trying to go all in at the end of James' career, and trading what assets they have left for Sexton could bring them closer to championship contention. Despite the fit, negotiating with the Jazz could be tricky. Jazz CEO Danny Ainge is known for maximizing the value of his assets, and Sexton's consistent contributions make him a valuable piece, even for a rebuilding team. The Jazz are currently among the worst teams in the Western Conference with a 10-28 record, and trading veterans like Sexton could accelerate their youth movement. Utah may be hesitant to part with Sexton without significant compensation. If the Lakers are serious about getting him, they might need to offer one of their 3 tradable first-round picks along with a rotational player. This could be a tough pill to swallow for the Lakers front office, but it may be necessary if they want Sexton in purple and gold. Depending on what the Lakers do this 2025 NBA trade deadline, LeBron's final chances at competing for an NBA championship could be on the line. That is a responsibility the Lakers shouldn't take lightly. LeBron James, Lakers aren't team they'll be in February and March. The goal of the Los Angeles Lakers is always to compete for a championship, and that is especially the case with LeBron James in the final years of his career. This team as currently constructed is clearly not a championship contender, however, and some are wondering what moves could be next. The team already swung a trade for a much-needed 3-and-D wing in Dorian Finney-Smith, but he alone is not enough to boost this team to elite status. Even with James and Anthony Davis playing at all-NBA levels, the Lakers just aren't there, and now the trade deadline is less than a month away. James has previously said that the Lakers aren't a championship contender yet, even after their trade with the Nets. But in a recent interview on the Gojo and Golic show, LeBron said this team has room to improve and won't look the same when February and March roll around. Yeah, I think so. I think our identity is one. Defensively, we want to bring physicality to the game. Make teams try to do something that they do not like to do. And then offensively, we want to share the ball. We're very good when we're up in the high 20s in assists. I feel like we have so much more room to improve. We are not the team I believe we're going to be once February, March hit. But I do like our chances, and we got to continue to put the work in, and that's all that matters. This can be interpreted a couple of different ways. LeBron saying the Lakers have so much room to improve could mean that he feels this team just needs more time to come together and then will look much better in a month or so. But this also can be taken as James expects there to be another move or two at the deadline. LeBron has never been shy about making these kinds of statements in the media and subtly pushing for a change, and the Lakers are expected to continue to be active in the coming weeks. If they plan on contending in any way this year, something needs to happen at the trade deadline. Lakers LeBron James still third in All-Star frontcourt votes. LeBron James continues to play at an All-Star level in his 22nd NBA season, and he is in line to make his 21st consecutive NBA All-Star Game appearance. In the latest All-Star voting returns, LeBron remains third in the frontcourt voting, trailing only Nikola Jokic and Kevin Durant. His Lakers teammate Anthony Davis came in at fifth, falling one spot from the first returns behind Spurs phenom Victor Wembanyama. Trade Austin Reeves for Bradley Beal. Byron Scott doesn't believe it would be a good idea for the Lakers to part with Austin Reeves for Bradley Beal. Los Angeles Lakers legend Byron Scott had some advice to share with his former team on the latest episode of Byron Scott's Fast Break podcast. The Phoenix Suns are reportedly quite willing to trade Bradley Beal, and while Scott admires the guard, he doesn't want the Lakers to give up Austin Reeves for him. Bradley Beal is going to be on the move, Scott said. Now, it's been talked about him being here in LA. Obviously, Bradley is a very, very talented offensive player, there's no doubt about that. But if you look at what Austin's done this year, so far, his numbers have been fantastic. If I'm the Lakers, I don't know if you think twice about making this deal, especially if you have to give up some of the young talent or some of the draft picks and all the stuff that they have to give up, Scott continued. You cannot part ways, to me, right now, with Austin Reeves. He has to stay here. When co-host Kid J brought up the huge difference in salaries, Scott pointed to it being another reason not to do this trade. That's the other reason, Scott stated. Austin is at a bargain, big time. Like a $38 million bargain. So, I like what Austin Reeves has been doing all season long, and I like where they are right now. Parting with Reeves for Beal certainly wouldn't be a smart decision. One can argue who is the better player at this moment, but when you look at the age and salary, it's a no-brainer who you'd want on your team. Beal is averaging 17.7 points, 3.6 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.1 steals, and 0.8 blocks per game for the Suns in 2024-25. The 31-year-old is in the third year of a 5-year, $251 million contract and has a no-trade clause too. Reeves, meanwhile, is averaging 18.1 points, 4.3 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 1.0 steals, and 0.1 blocks per game for the Lakers in 2024-25. From a team perspective, the 26-year-old is on a great deal too, as he is in the second year of a 4-year, $53.8 million contract. It's pretty obvious who's the better asset here. To further strengthen Reeves' case, he doesn't have an injury history either. He played all 82 games last season, while Beal hasn't played over 60 games in any of the last 5 campaigns. Some riots might take place in Los Angeles if the Lakers decide to swap these two. Lakers fans have already made it clear they don't want Beal. We're talking about a fan base that loves to see star players suit up for their team, but they don't want him. It would be a shock too if Beal becomes a Laker, even with them reportedly being one of the teams he'd be willing to waive his no-trade clause for. If the three-time All-Star was on a reasonable contract, it might have made sense for them to go after him, but he certainly isn't on one. Trading for Beal doesn't make sense for any team hoping to compete for a title at this moment. Only a rebuilding one would realistically be willing to take on that contract, but he could just veto any trade thanks to that clause. With the February 6th trade deadline just weeks away, there is a great chance that Beal remains with the Suns this season.